So I was down at MD Anderson, the cancer center in Houston, for my latest leukemia evaluation last week. And the doctor's reviewing all my blood tests and asking me a litany of questions. And one of them is, are you feeling run down? Are you feeling fatigued? And I told him, it's like, no, I don't feel any different than before you gave me the definitive diagnosis that this damn thing's going to kill me in a couple of years. I am still working 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like I have for years and years and years. And I sleep maybe 3 to 4 hours a night. And I've been doing that since high school. And he looked at me like I was kind of crazy. Clearly, my bone marrow has not gotten the message. It's like, I should be feeling fine, but you're trying to kill me, meaning the bone marrow. But case in point, so I wasn't going to do a video report, to be honest with you, today. I didn't really feel like it. But I had the plays, and I'm sitting here, and the camera's here, and the laptop's here. But right now, it's 9:15 Eastern time this morning. I haven't been to sleep since I woke up in another state at my other house at 7:15 Eastern time yesterday morning. And since then, I took my first flight since the pandemic started. Interesting. 2 flights to get back home. Of course, I had to stop with my wife at Geno's in South Philadelphia. Listen, Geno's and Pat Steaks, they're really not great steaks, but 1 in the morning, if you want to get some food, it's like, hey, it's near the Philadelphia airport. You'll stop. Drove home, handicapped the card because I hadn't started yet. There was no internet on this particular flight. I was a little pissed off. And here I am doing a video report for you at 9 this morning, so I better win this damn card today. As for me personally today, I have another Raise the Bar 30-dime release. It's on the nighttime game in the ACC at 8 o'clock Eastern time between Virginia and Miami of Florida. I am 15-5 lifetime with these plays. Ever. And I started these sites a little over 19 years ago. And you can get it as the half price play of the day simply by using coupon code HALF, HALF. Now, did I lose this play last week? Oh, you bet you I lost this play. I lost it with Tennessee. It was probably the single worst play I have made the entire season. Now, I don't blow smoke up your you-know-what. I do not come on here and claim that I won a game that I lost. I do not make excuses for losing a game. No, people that do that, well, they would be participating in presidential debates. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose bad. And that's why there are no guarantees in gambling. But I love this game. It was the one game that I focused on. When I was looking at the card originally, I have to be honest, when I was looking at the card originally when the lines came out on Sunday, I was looking at this card and I thought, there's no games here. There was just not, it was a weak card. And then I looked at games at Monday and Tuesday, and then Tuesday, I saw this game, and that little voice was screaming, bet me, bet me, bet me. And I don't ignore those little voices. Those other voices that talk in your head, sometimes you have to ignore them. But this voice, I listen to it. So anyway, that's what's going on for me. The other big play that's going today is Chuck O'Brien, who last week went 2-0 with his 100-dime plays. College football, North Carolina State, NFL, Miami Dolphins, first ever 150-dime play of his career. It goes on the early card. You get it for over half price off. It's Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern. Ask me what I know about those teams, and I will tell you the truth. Absolutely nothing. But anyway, it's over half price off, and that's available on the site too. So let's get to your complimentary plays here today. I will run these in reverse chronological order. A team that I have used, matter of fact, is a 30-dime play in the early weeks of the season. SMU one time against Memphis. SMU is a 2.5-point favorite tonight against Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati's coming off an idle week because their last game against Tulsa was postponed because of COVID-19 issues. Cincinnati comes into this game undefeated, and they have a great defense in terms of statistics, and you look at them on paper, they're only giving up 12 points a game, 307 yards a game. If you go against, you take away their game against Austin Peay, and you say the 2 games they played against FBS foes, they're only giving up like 9 points and 286 yards a game. But here's the thing. All 3 of their games have come at home, and their opponents, Austin Peay, Army, and South Florida. They beat Army, a team that runs the option, 24-10. They beat a really bad South Florida team, 28-7. Today they're on the road, and today they're going to take on an SMU team that is just so superior offensively to anything that they have encountered. I say those defensive stats are somewhat fraudulent. Again, accumulated at home against teams that do not throw the ball. SMU has a lot of problems defensively, as we have seen. This is a team, hell, when I had them as a 39 play, they were up 17 points in the first half against Memphis, allowed Memphis to come right back, and then needed a field goal with like 9 seconds to go to get the win and the cover. They are a flawed team. They barely got by Tulane in their last game, and we know how bad Tulane is. But they can put points on the board. Steve Buechele averaging 342 yards a game, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 67% completions. Ulysses Bentley, a darn good running back, averaging, I think, 6.6 yards per carry. They are going to put points on the board. This is a payback game for them, as they lost at Cincinnati last year, 2.5 points. Again, if the line goes to 3, I'm buying down the half point. I like SMU in this contest. Texas is a 10.5 point favorite at home today. Coming off the bye, lost their last 2 games to Oklahoma and TCU, barely got by Texas Tech in their second game of the season. Baylor, meanwhile, playing its first game in nearly 3 weeks, as their last couple have been postponed. We really don't know much about Baylor when you think about it. They lost in double overtime to West Virginia and beat up a cupcake in Kansas. Charlie Brewer, who had such a good year last year, is still back, but the supporting cast is not that good. And of course, Matt Rule took practically his whole coaching staff with him, including defensive coordinator Phil Snow, to Carolina when he took on the Panthers' head coaching job. But Baylor lost so much talent. I look at this game this way. You know, Tom Herman better win some damn games here soon, and he better win them by convincing margins. Texas is a 10.5 point favorite in this one. I think it's a manageable number for the Longhorns, who can put plenty of points on the board. The problem is their defense is just such a sieve. But I think I would like to go with Texas here, even though I will tell you that Tom Herman, as a Big 12 home favorite in conference play again, is just 2-9. But I like Texas in this one. Classic letdown situation game that you always have to be so cognizant of in college football and in college basketball too. Alabama, 22-point favorite, coming off a huge win against Georgia. I gave you Alabama last week. Huge win, but Nick Saban now 22-0 lifetime against his former aides and assistants, coming off that 41-24 win at Georgia. The Crimson Tide, 564 yards against that Georgia defense. Now, Saban has won all 13 games against Tennessee since he arrived in Tuscaloosa, and he has covered 9 of those 13 games as well. You've seen Tennessee go 6 straight quarters. The game at Georgia and the game last week at Kentucky. Kentucky winning in Rocky Top, first time since 1984. An embarrassing effort by the Volunteers. Jeremy Pruitt's team had won 8 straight games, took a 4-point lead 2 weeks ago between the Hedges and Athens at halftime, collapsed in the second half, no-showed last week at Tennessee. Quarterback change, will it make a difference? Does Alabama have a letdown here today? That's the key question. 22 points. Again, I think it's a manageable number. I can't see investing in Tennessee in this spot. I would still take Alabama in this particular spot. Another game on the early card, Kansas State, a 20-point favorite, coming off a bye. They have won 11 straight against Kansas. They entered this game with a 3-game winning streak. Remember, Kansas State opened the season with that shocking loss to Arkansas State. Then they rebounded as a 28-point road dog, winning outright against Oklahoma. Since then, they've knocked off Texas Tech at home and winning at TCU. Kansas last week got the backdoor cover at West Virginia, but they haven't done anything. I got to go in the Sunshine or Sunflower State Battle Showdown. Sunflower State Showdown, I think it is. I got to go with Kansas State in that contest. Your only other complimentary play, I like Boise State minus 17 at home against Utah State. Remember, last year, Boise State won this game 52-21, and that was with Jordan Love still with Utah State. The only downside, the only thing that I think in handicapping this game that I would be a little leery of, even though Boise State has Hank Bachmeier back at quarterback, 4 new starting offensive line, but Utah State, this is one of those anomalies I always come across in college football, where people will say, hey, Utah State has 5 starters back on defense. And that's true. But Jesus, Utah State gave up 441 yards and 31 points a game last year on defense. Do we really want those 5 starters back for the Aggies? 17 points. I'll use this phrase again. It is a manageable number. So let's recap the selections here today. If I had to rank them, I think Kansas State beats up Kansas. Lay the 20 points. I think SMU in revenge, minus the 2.5 points, gets it done. I think Boise would be my 3rd selection. Texas would be number 4. And the iffy game of the day would be Alabama. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well. I'm going to go get some sleep. Maybe dye my ear. Maybe even shave.